so stupid. No, I'm not. You're so stupid. No, I'm not. You're so stupid. Okay, maybe I am kind of stupid. You're so stupid. I know.
'Cause there's never been anybody. There's never been anybody. There's never been anybody quite like me.
I took a day off from the estate sale stuff, you know, getting my mom's house ready to sell and all that stuff. And I went to see a really good friend. If you were like maybe one of the the original, like I think it was 18 people who used to come to my live streams on Tuesday nights, then you probably remember Gina. She had bought her bus when our paths first crossed. A few months later, she was able to get on the road. That was 2 years ago. Gina is originally from Massachusetts, not too far from where I am now, but we didn't actually meet in person until we were both in Arizona in January of 2020.
Oh my God! Hi! I made it!
Gina's been on the road dialing in her bus life, you know, figuring out what makes it work for her. I, of course, I've been dialing in my bus life in my mother's driveway, but she came to Massachusetts to visit some relatives, and I thought, great, now I'm gonna go and see her, and I'll get to see her and her sweet little Finnegan. I was excited to do a tour for bus for you too, especially since she's done a rebuild, 2 rebuilds I think actually, and lots of tweaks since then, and it's always fun to see how people adapt when they're actually living in the bus as opposed to what they thought they needed when they first built it. So we decided to meet at Home Depot. I just found Home Depot and I can see Gina's bus. Cute bus. What struck me as soon as I saw our 2 buses together is how incredibly different they are. Even just the bodies, the shape. But you see how much wider hers is than mine? You can tell by those big back windows. Also, Gina's bus, the lily pad bus, is a dually. It's also a 2002. Max is a 91, so yeah, that's a very big difference. Also, there's the Ford versus GMC thing, and the fresh paint job on the lily pad bus makes it look even newer than 2002 because last time I saw the lily pad bus was still painted yellow. So we chatted for really quite a while and reintroduced Captain and Finnegan, the little Ewok, and then we got started on the tour/interview, and that's when it all went to hell in a handbasket, as they say. I don't know where that phrase comes from. Gonna have to look that one up. I really wanted the tour to be great, so I decided to use this lens attachment that gives you a wider shot, so you can see more of the bus during the tour. And I used this lens once before, and it worked out great. The problem is that I figured out today that I didn't have a case on the camera/phone before, and that little thin cover, just that little amount, was just enough to set the lens in kind of the wrong place. The whole tour and interview came out blown out and blurry, and I didn't figure out what was happening until more than halfway through shooting it. It was a combination, I think, of just being excited about the conversation, really in the conversation, and also the sun being pretty bright, that kept me from really noticing until so far into the thing. It looks like what happened is that light got in there between the phone lens and the add-on lens, and so the phone lens is just shooting the back of it's focusing on the add-on lens, on the back of the add-on lens, instead of focusing through it. And then even when I noticed it was happening, I didn't take the add-on lens off. I just did some adjusting that made it look like it was more in focus, but honestly, it didn't really work. So today I started putting the footage in, and it became very clear very quickly that it looked like shit. I immediately started beating myself up, or actually the thing that lives inside my head did. I have this thing in there, you know. I know it's me, yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's me. It feels like I'm possessed. And I've been trying to find a name for this inner voice because I thought maybe I could have a little conversation with it and calm it down if I did that. I wanted to find something funny and cute, and I thought of like critica. But see, that's too nice, because to criticize something is to study it and give it thought. Just saying you suck doesn't make you a critic, it makes you an asshole. So maybe that's her name. So asshole is immediately, you're so dumb, you're so stupid, I can't believe you did that. What are you? What are you, an idiot? when are you gonna learn? And before long, I'm totally agreeing. I'm just nodding along to the litany of insults, and then I'm calling myself those names on myself. Like first telling myself that like silently inside my head, and then out loud to myself all alone in the room. And then before you know it, I'm calling myself stupid on Messenger too. I'm talking to Gina about what happened, and I'm calling myself stupid. I realized that I just handed the steering wheel over to an asshole, which is crazy because I wouldn't let anyone else drive my bus, like not even my closest friend, let alone someone who is clearly out to hurt me. So why am I letting an asshole drive my life? I started thinking about this, the voices in my head thing, and I can't be the only person who has this. It's got to be kind of universal, right? So I did some research, and it turns out that this is actually a thing, that insulting voice in your head, which maybe you have too. I don't have to go looking for a name for it because it already has a name. Schema. S-C-H-E-M-A. Schema. Now here in Boston, schema would be like a guy who schemes. Like we say, he's a wicked schema. Schema is a defense mechanism that develops in childhood when you go through something traumatic, like either one big traumatic event or repeated experiences that are maybe smaller but cumulatively traumatic. And when you're a kid, fear is a really strong defense, since a lot of the things that happen to you when you're a kid you don't have any control over. So avoiding them is going to be the best tactic. These voices are there to keep you from going toward scary things. Like, for example, connecting with other people. A lot of people will have that one because every connection is a potential betrayal or hurt. And the way these schema mechanisms work is by basically pissing all over those things that it wants you to avoid. So in my case, excelling at anything, that's on the schema list. So my voice uses anything it can to label as failure so that I don't get too big for my britches, because God forbid we should succeed, because I got punished for succeeding in school. But instead of shrugging it off, I turned it into schema. Well, what protects us in childhood is a huge obstacle in adult life. If every situation where I could succeed is labeled as scary, schema is going to make sure I never experience success. And yeah, that's been a definite problem for me. I have not so far been able to either get rid of or make peace with this thing. So I'm making my New Year's resolution now, because the year always feels like it starts for me at around this time, because I don't know, maybe it's because I was born in October. It just seems like all of the major, important, big changes that have happened in my life have happened usually in November. So this year, the change is going to be, I'm going to make peace with my schema, which I think is going to be easier now that I know that its job is to protect me in whatever backward way it does. I'm possessed, but I'm not possessed by demons. I'm possessed by Little Mary Schema. I guess that's her name. Okay, now you can help me by giving me the opportunity to become wildly successful, thereby challenging the schema, and that starts with you subscribing. I'm not sure which side it's on, but subscribing if you haven't already, and binge watching all my videos and telling all your friends to binge watch all my videos. You can help. What's your schema telling you? And how can we help?